Namaste, Venus lovers and beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. Today we're going to talk about Venus in Virgo. When I was getting ready to do this video for you for the Venus forecast, I decided to break it up into two parts. The first part, we're going to review and cover everything that we've learned about Venus. It'll be a short video. But I have some different feelings about Venus in Virgo that I wanted to share with you guys and also just talk a little bit about some celestial mechanics. So, you know, there's so much to think about when it comes to the Virgo constellation, the Virgo sign. We went through a pretty intense eclipse here recently where the sun was in Virgo along with Mercury and Mars. Moon, Sun, Mercury, Mars, right on our south node in Virgo with the sun in her belly and the moon in her heart. It was just incredible. It felt it felt very jolting for me. And for a lot of people that I've talked to, it's all been very personal experiences, some good, some bad, but all very like, whoa, what just happened? And what I want to do with this next Venus cycle with the forecast is I want to sort of pick apart that greater Venus cycle and then do a thought experiment with you about Venus and Mercury. So Venus will actually be transiting through the constellation of Virgo in the actual sky between November 2nd and December 15th. So this video is a preparation for the forecast video that we will be putting out next week. We've been marinating in Virgo energy for quite a while, you guys. I kind of took this screenshot from my iPad. I was using the app Night Sky. And when I look at this image of Virgo rising, this was Friday the 13th that I took this picture. I just had a whole new profound respect for the energy surrounding Virgo. Virgo is our mother sky goddess. She's literally all encompassing of the divine feminine, sexy and practical. And with the sun in her belly there, that's S-U-N-S-O-N in her belly as the mother and the moon in her heart the day before the eclipse and Mars, the red show right before the birth. It just really kind of brought together for me that whole archetype. So yeah, that eclipse was super surreal. In general, when we think about Virgo, when we look at the mundane astrology and we look at Ptolemaic astrology, Virgo is often depicted as a woman on her back in the stars. And I feel like, here in our recent cosmology, that we're not supposed to be thinking of it that way anymore because, yes, Virgo is practical. Yes, Virgo takes care of. Virgo is in service. It's her divine calling to take care of those that can't take care of themselves and to not receive the praise for all that she takes care of. But I feel like that's one of the most diminutive roles of the Virgo energy, an energy that's been suppressed and occulted in our high-strung capitalistic marketing world. The story of Virgo as the Virgin, she represents Earth. Earth is her element. And so when you think about Mother Earth giving birth to the energy, giving birth to the creativity, to the creation that is all around us within the construct of the universe and science and quantum mechanics, there's this place where life is blooming everywhere. And to me, that's Virgo energy. I know that feels like spring for a lot of people, but anywhere on earth, even in the coldest, darkest, wettest place or driest place, there's a potential for life. And sometimes there even is life where we don't even expect it. And that is the element of earth. So you have all of that energy there on top of the practical, organized, detail-oriented, clutter-free Virgo. You also have this divine mother that we depicted here on Virgo rising on Friday the 13th. She is the birthing mother sky goddess. If you were to take a high-powered telescope and zoom into this constellation, I mean, really, really zoom in. I don't even think I can do it for effect, but like zoom in, you would see an enormous amount of galaxies by over a factor of 100. There are thousands of galaxies. This constellation is over top of the Virgo cluster, which is where we are in our greater galactic neighborhood. So for me, this energy is all about gestation. It's the bringing through of the energy to something constructive, right? If you think about gestation of a birth, you have a single-celled human that becomes this amazing, complex, integrated, thinking, conscious organism. And that all happens in the energy of Virgo. So why in the world would we slam that divine power of creation on her back? I'm going to get into that in a minute. Virgo, also, guys, we're doing constellational true sky astrology, is the largest constellation in our sky. If you look at a wheel, a radix wheel, there is 43 degrees of Virgo, not 30 degrees. And the constellation of Virgo, the sun travels through it. Let's see, I have my didactic slides here for you. Travels through September 15th to November 3rd. So basically, on November 3rd or 4th, the sun is going to move into the constellation of Libra, and then Venus is going to move into the constellation of Virgo. And so that's the difference between, sidereal and tropical. Let me show you the difference of these wheels here. So this is tropical. Virgo is over here, and the dates are completely off. And then Virgo's over here in the true sky, large, in charge, dominating a good portion of our time. And it almost seems fitting to me that this awareness is coming to light with a more cosmic perspective. We're looking up and out instead of, oh, what is that solar day doing to my season and my crops? Now we are looking up and out into the stars and into the cosmos and saying, who are we? What is this? Are we alone? What's going on here? And for us to look up into the sky and see the constellation of Virgo as she truly is, this ancient occulted energy of the mother, energy of creation, is right here standing before us on Virgo rising. So it just seems so fitting to me that as we enter into this new cosmic perspective of our zodiac, that we understand Virgo has much more power than we ever thought. I'm going to talk a little bit about Venus, and then I'm going to get into a little thought experiment with you guys. Venus started her current cycle. She's currently in Leo right now. We went all the way through Leo a couple times this summer. She's finally going to leave Leo, fully matured, fully integrated with Leo energy, with the heart of the lion, with the royalty of the star Regulus in her heart. She's marching as the morning star now, the warrior morning star, towards the constellation of Virgo, which has typically been considered her fall. So what I want to do real quick is just sort of review this current Venus cycle we're in. This started October 22nd, literally 1 year ago, right during the last eclipse season of 2022. Venus was conjunct the sun in a superior conjunction. And just to remind you guys what that is, I just showed you right here. So from Earth's perspective, Venus is on the other side of the sun. This is when Venus energy is burned up, taken up by the sun, and we only receive Venus energy through the sun's gracious light. So this is a time of incubation of Venus, beginning her next cycle, beginning to come around once again as the evening star, sensual, creative. So that was last year, and now we are here in 2023. Venus has just completed a retrograde and is now the morning star, and will begin traveling back towards the energy of the sun in her next superior conjunction. So let's just watch this cycle real quick on my shorts list. Y'all can check this out. I'll leave the video below. But it goes through all the way through the seasons of Venus. And what you'll notice of Venus is that she's pretty much overtaken almost every luminary, at least once in this cycle. Going through Pisces, going through Aries. We picked up our studies as she was transiting through Taurus, now in Gemini. She's getting closer and closer to Mars, the last one she's supposed to overtake. But then she goes retrograde here. You see her? She goes retrograde and becomes the morning star. And Mars just keeps marching through Virgo. And this is kind of where we are right now. As she stations direct, she's traveling through Virgo. This is the part where we'll be covering in the forecast video. Okay, this cycle is going to end in Taurus. with another superior conjunction of Venus on June 4th of 2024. So we are 12 months into a 20-month Venus cycle as she enters into the constellation of Virgo. Okay, so I want you all to just check out that video, watch that a few times, get that ingrained into your brain. So I wanted to give you that sort of cosmic perspective. I wanted to give you the radix perspective so you could see that. We're going to look at a chart real quick. This was when Venus started her cycle, and we are going to move to today by animating these transits. We're going to go ahead by 1 year and show Venus right here. All right, so now what's going to happen on the 2nd of November, right here, Venus will enter the constellation of Virgo and begin her transits. Okay, lots of juicy stuff coming. I'm going to go over all of these aspects in the next video. But what is Venus? So we've watched Venus for a little better part of a year now, and Venus has gone through the home turf of Taurus, the airy mental matters of Gemini, the loving, caring, nurturing nature of Cancer, wandering in and out of the halls like a child through the palace of the king in Leo, and now is beginning to enter Virgo. And Venus is our creative power. She is our relationships. She's our immortality through our creative legacy. Venus is a lot of things. Venus-centered astrology can show you where your truest creative potential should be here on this earth. And she's the divine feminine, for crying out loud. I mean, she is literally the everything that is divine feminine, all the polarities, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. And that's what Venus is to me. And she is the heart of our inspiration to create and to nurture the creation in which we bear, whether it's procreation or creative inspiration. So when I see Venus in Virgo, I see her in service to the mother, to Mother Earth, to the element of earth, and not necessarily in a vow of chastity. Virginity and chastity, when we think of the maiden and we think of Virgo, the virgin, this hails back to a time of matriarchal societies where women did not follow their family line through the father. In fact, they didn't even care who the father was. A lot of times men were in servitude to these societies. Women used their sorcery elemental power to control men and to create armies, to create empires. And so they did not follow the family line through the male. And in our last age, in the age of Pisces, the Aryan age and Pisces age, I would even tell you, Virgo's been on her back. She's been ruled by the planet of Mercury. Whereas Venus, I see Venus as that, especially as a morning star, as that warrior goddess, that warrior mother that cares for her creation. She channels the power of her sensation, which is how she attains enlightenment through experience of the senses, into all that is good and useful for all. Now, perhaps one could look at it as a sacrifice of youthful dreams of Leo as she's, stomping through the halls of the palace. But she doesn't see it as a sacrifice. So on the realm of physical creation, which is what Virgo is in the business of doing, gestating, something from nothing, essentially. And Venus is in service to that energy as a force of creation. And I feel like Virgo energy is probably the highest calling of Venus. And I'm just going to put that out there. There is a show on Amazon that I hope some of you have seen. If you haven't, figure out how to watch it. It's called The Wheel of Time. And for those of you that know it will know exactly where I'm going with this. There is a sect of women in this, without giving away any spoilers, who can control the elements. They're essentially sorcerers, witches, sorcerers, but they're held in the highest esteem. And they use the earth elements. There's the red Aes Sedai, there's the blue Aes Sedai. There's also so many stories out there right now about the use of elemental magic. Okay, so and if you're not familiar with what the elements are, it's wind, water, fire, and earth, and ether. Okay, so another thing that really bugs me about traditional teachings of Venus in Virgo is that Venus is in her fall or in her detriment in Virgo. And I would say, I would put to you that everything that I have just described does not describe an energy in fall. If anything, it describes an energy going back to its true power, standing up on the ascending, on the rising sign, um, showing her full power of creation. So I might even posit that in our new quantum to cosmic perspective of Venus and Virgo, that Venus could be uh, the ruler of both Taurus and Virgo. And I would also suggest that we wouldn't leave Mercury with just Gemini in his duplicitous nature. We would let him have the other duplicitous sign, which is Libra, the balancing of the scales. It just feels to me, with everything that I have downloaded about Venus and Virgo and Libra and Mercury, it makes more sense. Venus is the mother. Venus is the divine feminine. Venus is all that is powerful and creative. And she can make something from nothing in the energy of Virgo using her sorcerer elemental magic. And I'm speaking energetically, of course, right? When you have Mercury as the ruler of Venus, or the ruler of Virgo on her back, she's for sale. She's being traded in for commerce, traded into the highest bidder. Mercury doesn't care. He doesn't really have a polarity about it. He's neither feminine nor masculine. He simply wants to create the transaction. And he's in a perverse state as the ruler of Virgo. And Virgo is in a very diminutive state with Mercury as the ruler. So I say in our new cosmology, let's try Venus in Virgo, see what that feels like. And let's have Mercury rule Libra, balancing the scales. It's air, it's mental. Mercury is air. Mercury rules Gemini. Gemini is air. It's all mental. So it's mental and learning, and then it's mental and communicating, mental and relationships. That's what Mercury rules. I'm not putting Mercury down. I just don't think he does a good job as the ruler of Virgo. So that is the primer for the next video. Like this video if you love it. Subscribe to my channel, please. I do 1 or 2 videos a week, and I have quite a bit to talk about. I'm personally on this journey of self-discovery through my cosmic influences. It's a spiritual awakening. It's always a process. And it occurred to me that I'm probably not the only one on this journey. And so I thought that I would share mine. These are my thoughts. If they don't resonate with you, that's totally cool. But, I just want you guys to know that if any of you are thinking about these things, that you're not alone. And I'd love to hear your comments on Venus in Virgo, Venus ruling Libra, Mercury, any of that. Just put that in below. And I know a lot of us are influenced by the Ptolemaic astrology, but I mean, really, let's just try to think about this cosmically. This seems to make sense. Our new cosmology for this new age that we're entering into requires a balanced divine feminine that isn't for sale, right? So anyway, guys, I also teach astrology courses, so please check out the link in the description, and then also join our new Facebook group, Fellowship of 13 Sign Astrology. It's growing a little bit. I'm super excited. And let's see. Oh yeah, the Venus forecast video that's coming out in a few days. So this video should be a great primer for that. So I'll see you then, you guys. Thank you and namaste.